As we were getting ready to leave for Rockingham, we had the paintless dent removal guy from House of Pearls come down to the house to do some work on the cars before we left. There's been a nasty crease in the quarter panel of the Malibu since before we bought the car, and I've looked at it long enough. It's been an unsightly issue that everyone comments on routinely in the videos and pictures of the car. Chris uses a special light to highlight the damaged panels and carefully works his magic, working the sheet metal back into shape. Once Chris minimized the damage to my car, Billy had a spot on his Mustang and he wanted him to take a look at it as well. Although the panel on the Malibu is going to require some paint to get it perfect, Billy got a little bit luckier on the Mustang. Now, there's always a chance that the dent removal process may lift the paint, though your local PDR guy can go from hero to zero really quick. It takes years of experience to learn this trade and do it well, so we always take good care of Chris when we have him come out. The Magic Man.
Right.
Dude, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
How long have you been doing this?
21 years.
You make it look easy.
That's a problem sometimes.
You don't know how much it took to get that good.
Right.
They just see you got it out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything that looks easy, it can't be worth much, right?
I tell them 25 to do it and 75 to know how.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem.
That big gash on the side of my Malibu has been aggravating me forever.
Yes, it was an eyesore, but it turned out pretty good.
The guy that won this thing's going to be really happy too.
Yeah.
And the guy that sold it to me is probably like wanting it back really bad. He's been hurting all my
It's a nice
foot.
car.
So if somebody's got some dents and they want you to come out and pull them out, where are you from?
Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
Reynoldsburg?
Yep.
What's the number?
740-652-4144.
We'll see if the phone rings.
All right. Good deal.
With the PDR work out of the way, we've still got a few things left to do before we leave for Rockingham, like switching out the center sections in Billy's S10 so he can run quarter mile. I, on the other hand, was busy making sure that Wyatt could be kept entertained on his trip to North Carolina. These Stomper Mountains were some of my favorite toys back in the early 80s, and I'm sure they'll keep him happy in the motorhome. Once Billy's S10 was finished, he had a few things to tidy up on the Mustang's rear suspension before we load them both in the stacker. I'll be taking the Malibu in my trailer and racing it in the No Time Overdrive shootout. Since Tommy's not racing this weekend, I'm going to run the 55 in the Street Car Index class, and Tess is also going to run Billy's Corvette in the No Time Overdrive shootout. Eventually, we got everything loaded up, and it was time for me to find all my credentials and get ready to leave. With June and Chevy riding shotgun with me, we pulled out of the driveway and started making our way down to the local truck stop to top off the fuel tanks, and Billy needed to dump his waste tanks in the motorhome as well. Now, previously on our big trip to Texas, Billy had a substantial problem with the waste dumping system that he was supposed to get fixed before we take another trip. But as it turns out, Junior forgot all about it, and so he, Tony, and Kenny are about to get one stinky reminder about 2 seconds after Billy pulls the handle on the black tank.
That's where that hose never got fixed. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. Welcome to Traveling with Billy.
Pretty fresh to me.
On our way to Texas, one of the hoses fell out of the compartment and drug to ground, which created a hole that led to...
It's like shitwater soup. I come around the corner and Kenny says, "Don't go over there." I was like, what? Like, is there like a dead animal? No, shitwater's coming out.
All of the chaos at the back of the motorhome ended up getting Vicky's attention, and when she came out to see what's going on,
Why is that happening?
she had lots of questions. Welcome to the Shitastrophe,
Hey, it looked like Frappuccino coming out of there.
the Barnum and Billy Circus. Eventually, we got everyone and everything cleaned up and got on the road. Vicky rode in the motorhome to help keep Wyatt entertained, and we ended up driving straight through in order to get to the track early Thursday morning. It was almost 6 a.m. when we pulled into the main entrance at Rockingham, and the sun was just coming up over the Speedway across the street. Later on this week, I'll be making laps around this track with a 55 Chevy during the cruise for the Street Car Index class. All right, guys, we made it. It is just about 6 a.m. The sun's just starting to come up. Today is Thursday. I think today is mostly just a day for us to get teched in, find our pit spot, and then they're doing roll racing today. I don't know if Billy's going to partake in any of that. He talked about maybe entering that Mustang in some roll racing so he can get some idea whether it's going to run or not. For me, I plan on just trying to get my car through tech and getting a little bit of sleep. We drove all through the night, and we had a good trip down. I didn't have any trouble. Nobody had any trouble, actually, so that was all good. The kids are going to try and, looks like they're going to try and get in the camper, and everybody's going to try and get a little bit of rest. I don't know what time they're going to open the gate. I don't imagine it would be too long, probably a couple hours maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really worried about it. We got living quarters and they got the motorhome, so we'll, I guess, get a little rest and wait for them to open the gate. Well, we're here.
We are. As the sun's coming up.
We're looking a little rough.
Yeah.
We're feeling a little rough,
Yeah.
but all in all, good trip.
The bad thing is now he's been asleep since 2 a.m. So now he's awake and thinks it's time to wake up.
Oh.
And Billy's ready to lay down. So.
The Stomper Mountains and monster trucks kept Wyatt happy most of the next 2 hours, while we all tried to get a few minutes of sleep, waiting to get in the gate. We picked out a nice pit spot with plenty of shade and started unloading the cars while Wyatt ate breakfast. Although the motorhome can be a problem at times, it's definitely beneficial when traveling with a toddler. Now, although we've been to Rockingham many times, this is the first time we'll be racing on the front side of the track instead of the back side during Dig or Die. Streetcar Bragging Rights is an up-and-coming event that is gaining popularity as evidenced by the pits here in Rockingham. One of the biggest differences between an event like this and backside races is that the cars actually have to go through tech. So I fired up the Malibu and started making my way down to the tech shed to go visit my old buddy, John Sears. His tech trailer is set up along the return road down by the scoreboards, which gives everyone an opportunity to see the winner's circle, the VIP tent, and the racing surface up close before anyone makes a pass down the track. Look who it is.
Streetcar Bragging Rights, buddy. What are you doing here?
Oh, well, I got a streetcar. Actually, I got 2 streetcars. I got the Malibu and the 55. I'll have to go back and get it.
All right. Well, you know how Nate does here, man.
No, I've never been here. I've never been here. No. Dude,
right.
This guy is serious about this shit.
Next level stuff, man. You're going to see some really cool things this weekend. You've seen all the banners and the flags he's got flying. Wait till you see the winner's circle, fireworks, the whole nine. You're going to be pretty impressed this weekend.
I'm already impressed.
Yeah, he's very organized.
Very.
Yep.
I'm very, 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 very happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this for months.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see you guys go down the racetrack because this track has been stellar the past couple of weeks.
So believe it or not, we've been here 3 or 4 times and we've never raced on the front side of this track.
You're missing out. You're missing out.
I know that, but
the radio prep is really good here. Jim and the rest of the crew do a good job. And the new owner, Dan, has made so many improvements to the racetrack that it's a destination spot for people.
Nice. Well, I'm excited. It looks beautiful so far. I got in here, like 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning.
Right.
And we got about an hour and a half of sleep, and then the line started moving. And we came in and started getting everything situated. And so far, I'm down a generator.
Okay.
Fuel pump quit, so I'm on my backup generator.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm
Is that
hanging
the Pro
in there.
Mod one without a muffler?
No. It's a Honda.
Okay.
I've moved up from that.
Nice.
I'll be back in a little bit with a 55.
All right, buddy. See you then.
While I was busy getting the Malibu teched in with John, Vicky and Wyatt were getting some ice for the coolers and something to eat at the concession stand. By this time, we had our pit area all set up and we were ready to start making test passes Friday morning. Originally, I was going to run the Malibu in the Streetcar Index, but when an entry became available in the No Time Overdrive Shootout, I decided to run the Malibu in that class. All right, guys, so we're up here in the staging lanes for a time trial for Index. The 55 has a problem with the water temperature gauge. It does not work. I noticed yesterday when I drove it to tech, the water temperature never came off 0. And I didn't pay too much attention to it. I've never had any trouble with it before. But this morning I'm trying to put heat in it and I can't get any heat in the engine according to the gauge. So I opened the hood, laid my hand on the heads, and they're definitely warm. And so this is going to be challenging to try and index race a car that you can't control or even monitor the water temperature of. It's just my luck, but we'll do the best we can. Well, I tapped on it a little bit with my phone and it started working, so that's a plus. But we'll add that to the list of things we need to address on this car when we get home. The other thing is the seat. Tess put the seat forward to yellow belly and the damn springs or something's disconnected underneath the seat. So when I get in it, I'm clear up against the steering wheel. So we definitely need to get that fixed. I got reacquainted with the 55 and got myself up to the burnout box to make my first time trial for the day. All right, so I made my first lick in the 55. The transmission, when you set the button, it lurches forward if you bring it up on the converter at all. So I have to literally bump in at almost an idle, and then when I set the button, the car rocks forward, and then it's kind of a situation where you got to really hustle to get it on the two-step before the tree fires. The plugs seemed like they were maybe blackened up a little bit. It was breaking up a little bit in first gear. Billy's putting a timing light on it right now to check it. But it went through the finish line fine, no trouble there. A little slow, 10-11 at 131, I think, so I think it's going to be okay. We got the plugs cleaned up, I can drive. After making a couple test passes in the 55, I had to head across the street to the Speedway for the driver's meeting and to participate in the mandatory cruise for the Streetcar Index class. We were told to enter the infield through the tunnel under turn 4. Once we emerged from the tunnel, we realized how many cars are actually entered in the Streetcar Index. They had already begun lining the cars up in front of the tower. Enough cars to completely encircle the track, leaving only 20 to 30 foot gaps between each one. Although this is the first time I've ever been out on a NASCAR track, I was still completely surprised by the sheer size and scope of this facility, even though this is obviously one of the smaller tracks on the circuit. It was at this point that I realized that 90% of the cars entered in the Index class are all late model fuel injected cars, and a lot of them are drive-by-wire. So I was feeling pretty confident that I might have a pretty good chance on the old 55 Chevy. This is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen done for a drag and drive or a cruise style thing. Be able to come out here on the Speedway, and this is wild. Those banks are steep. I had no idea.
It would be hard to top this for a cruise.
Nate Prater, the event promoter, went over all the rules of engagement while we were on the track surface before we were turned loose, double file around Rockingham Speedway.
It's going to be a lifetime event to remember.
Yeah, cruising the NASCAR track in a 55.
Yep. You don't get to do that too often.
No, you don't.
This whole event has just been flawless. Like,
It really has.
got all the cars nice and numbered, and everything's neat.
Everything is extremely well organized. Run like clockwork, honestly.
Yep.
Eventually, everyone was turned loose on the track, and everyone found a groove around the Speedway for the next 20 or 30 minutes. Kenny and I made laps in the 55, trying to stay cool and keep the oil from running away from the oil pump pickup by running mostly on the bottom of the apron around the track. After about 30 minutes, the white flag was flown, letting everyone know this is our final lap around the Speedway before the safety truck pulls out and guides us down pit road. By the time we were done making laps, the 55 was definitely feeling the heat. It was over 90 degrees, but would have been much worse had we not had the cloud cover.
We made it. A little bit warm. I'm warm. You warm? Yeah.
We made it back across the street to the drag strip and then cooled the 55 off until they called my class to the lanes for first round. Unfortunately, my luck in the 55 wasn't too good first round, and that same trend continued in the Malibu. It's obviously not a purpose-built race car by any stretch of the imagination, but I've never had it knock the tires off like it did on my one and only test heat, though I loaded a much more gentle ramp into the nitrous controller before I went up for first round. Although the Challenger in the other lane looks relatively stock, it's got a 750 cert cage. It's definitely not your typical daily driver. But regardless, at this point, I'm just here to support the event and hopefully make a personal best pass in the Malibu, which I did get. However, it wasn't nearly fast enough to compete with this Dodge. So even though I'm out first round in both classes, I still got to watch Tony win stick shift and got to watch some amazing racing under the lights at Rockingham. Even though my performance on track this weekend was pretty disappointing, I was still happy that the nitrous kit worked as it should, and I still got a new personal best under my belt. It also meant that I had plenty of time to hang out with Wyatt and get to visit with everybody who came to see us. There were a lot of new people who came that brought their kids, and some of which we will likely never forget. But they didn't just come to see Vicky or I or the kids. They came to see the cars too. I ended up taking some people for rides in the Malibu and actually took quite a few of them up the road to make some nitrous pulls on 2 kits. All in all, it was a great time, and I can't wait to go back next year. And hopefully, we'll all be better prepared. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is Wednesday. We had a great time down in North Carolina, but it is now time to get back to work up home. And today I'm meeting Bob and Addie at the machine shop, and we're going to re-dyno her engine out of her Malibu. Now, let me explain. A few months ago, they fired up the Malibu and were checking fluid levels and noticed traces of oil in the cooling system. Now, the only way that could happen is if the block has a crack or something and it's pressurizing somehow the cooling system with oil from the oiling system. Not good. So Bob took the engine all apart. He couldn't find anything wrong. So he went ahead and machined another block and put her engine back together. Made some changes in it with the camshaft, and I don't know. He thinks he's made some progress with this thing. Last time we had on the dyno, it made like 500 horsepower. I really should have made more, but I don't know. We're gonna get to the bottom of it today and see what it makes. Today is also the first day of summer vacation for Addie. She is in high school and she is chomping at the bit. She now has her driver's license and she's ready to start driving her car and racing it. And she was down at streetcar bragging rights with us this weekend, of course, all keyed up about this Malibu. So she's really excited. I think they're going to put the engine back in the car this weekend and get it running. So we're going to go dyno the engine today and see what kind of power it makes, and see Addie, and I think her grandpa's coming today to hang out with us. So let's go check out what's going on at the machine shop. I made it up to Bob's just after lunchtime on Wednesday afternoon, and by the time I got there, he was already working on Addie's engine, getting it warmed up to make a pull. Addie's engine is a stock block 406 small block Chevy with trick flow heads, trick flow R intake, trick flow roller rockers with a hydraulic roller camshaft. We've had this engine on the dyno 2 or 3 times. The first time it made 500, the second time it made 530. But today, Bob's thinking it's going to make considerably more. Of course, Addie's pretty excited. She just turned 16 years old and she's got her driver's license, so she's legal to take the car to the track and race it. And that's exactly what she intends to do as soon as her dad gets the engine back down in the car for her. Wow. That thing sounds good, Bob.
It does.
Who's this guy standing next to you over here?
My grandpa.
That's the wild grandpa with the small block Chevy on a lawn tractor or something you've been telling me about for years.
Yes.
So you get it naturally, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You're excited.
Yes.
So this thing's going back in the car this weekend?
Yeah, I hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah, I'm
Because
gonna
you've
tell
got your
Dad-
license now.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Dad to bring the
Good.
truck up here when we can bring it home. and put
Today?
it- I mean,
She's ready today.
She's ready today.
Won't even be cooled on.
Yeah, it'll still be hot.
Yeah.
We'll have to wear gloves just to load it in the truck.
yeah.
So the last time we put this in your car, you just had a temporary license. I don't even think you
Yeah.
had that.
No, I just had my permit. That's what I had,
Yeah. But now you've got the whole thing,
Yep.
your legal driver's license.
Yeah. Yep.
And you just made 580 some horsepower on your first 406
Yeah.
on the dyno. Bob?
Yeah, I know.
587. 587 on gas. Now this thing runs on E85. Her car's got an E85 carburetor. I think she brought it with her.
She did.
Now this is your 1050 gas. This is the magic carburetor.
Right.
The magic carburetor. Her carburetor is my old 750 quick fuel. I think it's red and chrome. But anyway, it's an E85 carburetor and the car's set up to run on E85, so she doesn't have to worry about paying for race gas. She's on a limited income.
I understand. Maybe down the road we'll switch her over to pump gas.
Oh yeah, well that's
coming. Maybe.
That's coming. We're working on our pump gas situation.
Yeah.
Our-
Researching that.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do a little bit of a backstory. Last year, on a bore,
They were taking the antifreeze or water out of the engine, and they called me very concerned that they had oil in the radiator or the antifreeze or the water.
Right.
And they was very concerned about it. And I said, well, bring it up and we'll look it over and see if we can find anything. So they brought it up. We took the heads off of it and we put a drill in. We tried to pressurize the oil system to see if I could get something to come out in the antifreeze, which their amount of oil in their antifreeze, you know how it is. Oil always looks larger than it is.
Yeah.
But there was some in it.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't really diagnose anything on the block on the other one. And so I made the decision that I had another 400 block here and we would just put their internals into it. All we did was just take all the parts that was inside their internals and put in this block that I had, that actually I traded for through a job.
But you did change the camshaft.
But I did change the camshaft. Because of this thing, we had it on a dyno twice last year because we just couldn't get it to run.
Yeah, we retarded the cam timing and we did pick up some power.
But it never ran as well as we liked it to. Kind of picked out of a magazine a little bit. And shebang, this thing runs so good, I don't want to bother it.
Mm-hmm. And we use the Jessel because it's so much easier to swap cams and cam timing with a Jessel belt drive than it is.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to take the timing cover off and drop the pan and all that on the dyno.
Yeah.
So we put the Jessel kit on it just so we can see what it likes as far as cam timing, which camshaft, which you feel like you hit it out of the park.
Yes.
And so once we pull it off the dyno, you'll take the Jessel back off, put the standard timing chain set, the standard cover on.
Yes.
And then we're back in business, and she's off to the rodeo.
Right.
Bob and I went ahead and pulled his Magic ATM 1050 gas carburetor off so that we could put Addie's HVH 4-hole spacer and 750 E85 carburetor back on. Once we flushed out all the race gas out of the fuel system, we filled the carburetor bowls with pump E85 and checked for leaks. Now, in theory, the E85 carburetor should make more power, but since this is a 750 compared to Bob's 1050, it may not make as much peak horsepower, but I'll bet you anything, it makes more torque. Lost a little bit. What'd it do for torque though?
Came up.
Yeah. So your carburetor is a 1050.
Yes.
Whereas that is a 750. But on E85 with a smaller carburetor, it makes more torque. If it had a bigger E85 carburetor on it, it'd probably make more power.
Right.
But for what we're doing with this thing right now, driving it around on the street, cheap fuel, it'd be fine. You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Now what we need to do is get it off the dyno. Bob's got to swap out the Jessel kit for the standard timing chain and the timing chain cover. But maybe you can talk your dad and your grandpa into bringing you back up here tomorrow afternoon, scooping it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home. Actually, I'll text him before we leave here and be like, we're going to get the motor tomorrow.
You're not asking, you're telling him.
I'm telling him.
Oh my goodness. Grandpa, you guys got your hands full.
Tell me about it.
So you're excited. We might be able to sneak this thing out this weekend, at least go cruise it around, maybe even make that test and tune Friday at Trails.
I hope so.
Oh my gosh. Big trouble.
Yep.
All right, Squirrely, we're back.
We're home.
We are home. It's Thursday night. We have been on...
It's
Wait.
Wednesday night.
Oh. Sorry.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're right. My days and nights are
It's
so
our
screwed up.
anniversary.
It is. It's our 31st wedding anniversary.
May 21st,
You deserve-
1994.
Yeah, you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize for dealing with me for 31 years.
I will agree.
So we just got back from the event. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus. It took us a couple days to get some rest and get caught up,
We
but
don't
we're
bounce
back.
back like we used to.
Yeah, we don't bounce back like we used to. We're getting older, but I had a great time down in North Carolina. I know you did.
Yes.
We got to meet so many nice people. Some of the people we have met before.
Yeah.
Others were new.
Yeah, like I get to recognize people, like, because we've been down there for Dig or Die several times. And it's like, oh, I remember them.
Right.
So,
There's a lot of people we recognized.
Yeah,
but there were some new people. Strawberries. Yes, I know that.
The basket of strawberries.
The basket of strawberries. Yes, I know that was your favorite thing.
I know. That was like the best gift surprise. I mean, it was hot, and those were just, we had them in the fridge and munched on them all weekend, so thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And milk chocolate.
Oh, that's what Pookie's been smearing all over his face the last few days. Okay. All right, so what do we got on our agenda to talk about tonight?
Well, let's talk about the Biscayne. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so Kenny got the transmission pulled out of it today, and we're going to get started. I got to take that down to Lonnie at Extreme Automatics, and we're going to get the transmission fixed. We're going to get the drive shaft replaced, get it ready, because that guy's coming to get it. What was the guy's name that won that thing? I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I have it right over here.
Really?
Yeah. The winner was Terry Dillard in Tennessee.
Okay, Terry Dillard in Tennessee. He's going to come up and get that thing, but I got to get it fixed first.
I've been texting with him.
Oh, really?
Guess what?
What?
He and his wife are thinking about flying out and driving it home.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That sounds like a good time, actually. Yeah. So we're going to get that thing fixed, get it ready, and then we've got another giveaway we're starting right away. Right away. Did I say right away?
You said right away.
I said right away. So, you know, one thing I've noticed lately is that with all the trailers and all the stuff we've done giveaways on, it's like we expect people to show up here and be like so happy to pick up their car or happy to pick up their trailer or carburetor or just whatever it is. And it's like all they want to do is hang out in the shop and look around and
take it all in.
Yeah, and take it all in. And I'm like, aren't you excited to come get your stuff?
And they're always so thrilled
and
thankful, and they're like, we're so happy to
I'm
meet
like,
you
what
guys.
are we doing? I'm like, what are we doing?
And we've done this once before. Remember a couple of falls ago?
Yeah, we did.
And it was like they got to hang with us for the weekend. We did a cruise in the fall. It was so much fun.
Yes.
They brought their street truck out.
And they had a wonderful time. We've made lifelong friends with them.
Yeah,
Tim and Chelsea.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it again.
Yes.
And we're going to do it by order numbers. So beginning tonight.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, should we do tomorrow? Technically tomorrow, Thursday? Tomorrow's Thursday.
I think we should maybe start it. Hold on. Hold, please.
Oh, God.
Do that thing.
No, I don't want to do that thing.
Let me think of what the date is here.
Well, let's think faster.
Why don't we do Friday the 23rd?
When is that?
Friday the 23rd.
I mean, how many days from now? 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So Friday the 23rd, we're going to start this thing. All the orders after Friday the 23rd until when? I'd say a month at least, right? Okay, so
we'll set a date. I'll look down and we'll set a date.
So maybe the next 23rd or something?
How about maybe June 30th?
Okay.
End of June.
So end of June, June 30th, the end of June. Every order you place gets you entered to win a chance to come hang out with us, take a tour of the shop, maybe go for a ride in all the cars. We're going to organize a cruise. I'm going to get this deal set up. I've already had a lot of people. I've made a couple of hints on Facebook, and I've had a bunch of messages already. Hey, I'd like for you guys to come visit here. Or House of Pearls just texted me a few minutes ago. Hey, man, come bring everybody up. And Bob wants to do like a car show or something at the machine shop.
Oh, wow.
He's got a lot of stuff going on. We'll talk about that later, but he's building a new building. What? Yes. That's a whole... We can't get into that right now.
Okay.
But he's got a lot going on up there, and he would like to have maybe an open house up at the machine shop.
So would this be like a little mini cruise with checkpoints?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But what I want to do is give everybody an opportunity to come visit, go for rides, maybe some test hits on the test spot.
Meet everybody.
Tour the shop, meet the dogs, get bit by June Pup.
Oh, the chance of a lifetime.
Yeah, the chance of a lifetime. So we're going to start that Friday. I'm really excited about that because that worked out so well with Tim and Chelsea.
Do you want to tell them that you have, well, you can't show them yet, but you have some new stuff in
No,
the
I
works?
can show them one.
Oh, you're going to show? Oh,
I can show it one. All right, so we've got some new merch coming out, and the first design, this isn't final. This is just the first rough draft.
Yeah.
But streetcars and freedom, that's my thing. I'm all about it. Always have been, always will be. And the first design is going to be the Monte Carlo because we haven't done anything with the Monte Carlo. And I've had a lot of people messaging, where's the Monte? Did you sell it? Where is it? I buried it in turn 3 out back. No, it's in the garage. It's buried in the garage. I actually pulled it out the other day and we had it outside for a few minutes. And we're waiting for things to free up down at 10 Soldier, the chassis and the mini tub work done, and it doesn't make any sense to wire and plumb the car until that stuff is done.
Like an order.
There's steps, right?
And 10 Soldier, if you follow them at all, they are kind of busy
Oh,
getting
they are
Charlie Brown
slammed.
getting back together.
Yeah, Charlie Brown's going the boosted route with a Pro Charger, and they have been slammed. Actually, I just got a message from Jason. I said, hey, man, just want to let you know I haven't been to distract you, but I love you guys. I'm trying to distract you, but I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great trip down the Shady Side. And he said, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. So busy. They're humping down there. They're trying to get that car down. What?
Well, I was thinking about the next thing I want to say.
Oh, what?
So with us doing another giveaway here soon, the giveaway is going to come back here to our shop.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yes.
So Miss Addie is on summer vacation.
Yeah, she's got
today.
She's got to work off a machine shop bill or something. We just dynoed her engine up there today. So with the Biscayne giveaway, that was kind of a big deal, and we just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, bigger giveaways we send to the guy who handles bills.
Right.
And that's a big deal. And so, but
and plus that had to be done through the gaming commission, all that, and he handles all the legality stuff because obviously me and legalities don't mix. So, so he handles all the big ones, but the little stuff like this we can handle here. Yeah. So the shipping is going to return to our shop, and Miss Addie's going to come help, and probably Allison, and probably you, and probably Pookie, probably me. And
we'll handle these.
Yeah, and we'll be putting the male Camino back to use.
Yes, now that it's proper weather for it. So yeah.
So that's new and exciting. I can't wait for that. We'll have a mess out here every day on the table, and
what else? Well, you were going to ask me about what was my favorite part from this weekend.
Yeah, what was the favorite part?
I'm going to say meeting all the nice people. I know I say that all the time, but people always blow me away. We've had a lot of viewers for a long time. Like they started a while ago.
And when I was taking people rides in the car down there.
Oh, I love that. I love it when you catch somebody off guard that totally didn't expect you to say jump in.
Yeah. And there was a couple that everybody I took a ride in that car was just so appreciative, and they were like making a big deal out of it, and they're like trying to FaceTime their friends, and I'm like, is this really worth all that? But to them it really is,
I love that. So Saturday I came out the trailer doors, and there was this gentleman standing there, and he had a cane, and he was disabled, and he was waiting and waiting. Michael, yes. And he said, is Bill going to be out soon? And I said, well,
I know. I felt
we had
so
been
bad.
Up till 4 a.m.
I kept him waiting for some.
And I said, listen, we're not quite bouncing back yet, but once he gets his shower and he's out
to sleep in about 6 hours of.
I said, then he'll
shout out to Michael.
I know.
And
so
just real quick.
Yeah. And you get real groggy. But anyway, I told him, I said,
I don't want to walk out of the trailer and my face looks like a marshmallow. My eyes are matted shut. My breath stinks. I'm covered in dog hair.
I told Michael, I said, tell me where you'll be and I'll come get you on the golf cart. Because he couldn't keep walking back and forth.
Right.
He's got a cane.
Right.
So I went and got him. And when you were finally out, and brought him over. And so he's meeting you and everything. And then all of a sudden you were like, come on, let's go for a ride. And he was like,
Oh, he didn't plan on that, did he? He didn't realize that was coming.
That was great. I loved it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. It gives somebody an opportunity, a family or a couple of people, whatever, an opportunity to come hang out with us and meet us and tour the shop and take some rides and maybe go visit Uncle Terry at Jegs, or maybe go visit Mark down at A1, or get to meet Buckwheat in person.
Bucko.
Uncle Bucko, he's our man. If he can't fix it, no one can. That's not really how it goes, but that's the PG version.
Yeah.
All right, we're done for tonight. I got to get this video up. I love everybody. Thank you all. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next
Good
one.
night.